Brother Lawrence was born as Nicholas Herman. He was of Lorraine, a lowly and unlearned man who, after having been a footman and soldier during the destructive 30 Years' War, which many men engaged in cruel violence, we kind of keep that little part in our mind because every so often he'll talk about his past with great sorrow. And some biographers will wonder if he's not alluding to this time frame, but that's an allusion, right?
Right.
He was admitted a lay brother among the barefooted, and the term there is discalced. You had calcid and you had discalced. They're called barefooted, but that is not what we mean by barefooted. They mean sandals, that they run around in sandals. They walk in sandals as opposed to a full shoe.
Right.
So, so he was admitted as a lay brother to the Carmelites in Paris in 1666, which I make a note that the Carmelites enjoyed a wonderful, a high opinion amongst the people. And he was ever afterward known as Brother Lawrence. Of the Resurrection is a title. Carmelites have titles, so they're giving their religious name and also a title, which is that prepositional phrase. He started out as a monastery cook, but he suffered a wound in the war in his leg, which festered and developed over time. So he was, I think that will be what he ends up dying from. It becomes an ulcer. I mean, at 80 years of age. So he bears with this a long time.
Okay. Yeah.
But he's unable to stand in the kitchen after a while. So then he'll start to make sandals, repair the sandals because they're just calcite. And that can be at one point 100 priests and brothers. It's 200 sandals he'll be taken care of. Nicholas learned Christian principles from his parents, Dominic and Louise, who were very fine people. And he did not have an opportunity to study. So I guess he caught, they was it that expression, he caught what they taught or something like that. Then at 18 years of age, and I think that this is so apropos for our channel, The Garden of Graces. At the mere, so he's 18 years, he comes from a Christian home, but he really unlearned, not much able, hasn't had opportunity to study. And he sees in midwinter a dry and leafless tree. And he realized that with the coming season of spring, it was going to burst forth into, its leaves and whatever that tree was. And he was mesmerized by the creativity of God, the power of God. Just, I'm looking out at my sandpaper tree right now. It's in spring. It's in full bloom. It's gorgeous, white blossoms and so forth. And it is a real moment of awe, like, oh my goodness. But for our young man here, Mr. Herman, who is now Brother Lawrence, he says from that time he grew eminently in the knowledge and love of God, endeavoring constantly to walk as in his presence. So he's an 18-year-old man, and he starts to have this pivot in his mind. I always want to be in the presence of God. So, he hit 26 years after, so he thinks about being a life as a hermit and a valet to another gentleman. But that didn't really stick, that attempt. And he found his vocation within as I said, the community. And he took, oh, excuse me, he didn't do, I made a mistake there. His solemn profession was when he was 28 years of age. So 10 years after that conversion of 18, he has solemn profession.
Right. Yeah, it is interesting going from the life that he had been living, right? Obviously, one of probably labor, working for random lords who would have been in the area, fighting during the 30-year war, becoming injured, not really having any time to study or to engage in anything. And you think how often it is that it is someone like that who is sort of a clean palette, right, or a clean tableau, that those are the ones that our Lord really likes to paint upon, because the knowledge that is given to them is a pure knowledge, right? That has come strictly at the foot of our Lord. You think of the little martyr, the little seers at Fatima, or a Saint Bernadette, or any of those people who, and even Saint Therese, really, right? I mean, obviously she probably would have had some level of education, but we don't call her a doctor because of the schooling that she got, but more because of what she learned through her sufferings in the Carmel. So very similar to this, Brother Lawrence.
That is very true.
And actually, I think also, we would have to look at like a Saint Jean Vianney also, right? Because he was post-revolution, and really was not able to really learn anything in the schools because they were suppressed at the time that he was, that he should have been able to do his Latin studies and whatnot. But still, the Lord is more than able to cover those minor defects.
He always. As a lay brother, Lawrence was tasked with many errands for the community to support the many young friars in formation, because that's one of the fruits here of the Catholic Reformation. And at times that would include begging, so he would be out begging. So Sarah said something, the Lord uses the simple, or the everyday, or the task that would be that are imposed upon. So he's going to have to go outside of the cloister, and oh my gosh, I forget which saint who said that a monk and a fish are the same. If they're out of water too long, they don't do too well.
Right, they don't do it. Yeah.
Yes, and Brother Lawrence, because he really is at the bottom of the totem pole. He's tasked with having to go outside the community to get the things that they need. In that encounter with the everyday people, the shopsman, the winemaker, the various sundry things, with his limp, the way he would have to flip himself over and hop over the barrels because of his gimpy leg, and all of this made him accessible to the common person in a way that if he was hale and whole and learned, he wouldn't have been.
Right.
And we will see that earthiness, or that relatability through in his view of life, as it were. All right, here's one of it. After discerning who he was speaking to, so that would come from engaging in commerce and that sort of thing. You need to kind of read people to make sure that they're giving you a fair price, they're giving you what they're saying they're giving you, this sort of thing. He would speak freely and share his method with those seeking his advice. So let's take this, for example, this one. It neither tells you who he's speaking to, who are the conversation, well, the conversations will be to the friend who does the eulogy here, but it doesn't tell you who the letters are to. And I think that that's a critical thing to know, because Brother Lawrence always took into account who he's speaking to,
Right.
and were they asking his advice? So he would have to know them, and are they open to hearing them? So he wasn't always just going around meddling in other people's affairs,
Mm-hmm.
just kind of willy nilly. And so what he would say, or his advice to a nun or a young woman or a soldier, I think it helps to know that that's who his audience was.
Right. Yeah, because this with him, it appeared to be never anything other than love in the particular.
Yes, yes, yes. He's not trying to make general propositions,
Right.
general axioms. I mean, he works from some generalities,
Sure.
of course,
Right.
but how does it apply to this person in this particular instance?
Right.
All right, my friends, let us pick up in the next episode with our new friend, Brother Lawrence. Till then, Vide Sud Ratio.